Hello, this is the luckiest maths teacher in the world. Thank you so much for tuning into this video in which we will look at rates. So rates compare quantities of different units as opposed to ratios that compare quantities of the same units. We write rates as some quantity per some quantity. For example, it could be dollars per litre. You've already seen speed, which is a rate. It compares some measure of distance and some measure of time, like meters per second. So here in speed, distance and time are different units. So that's what I mean there. So we're going to use rates to calculate quantities. We'll do this using the unitary method. So we just follow these steps here. So I'll illustrate that with an example. Let's say 50 litres of petrol costs $115. At the same rate, we will calculate how much 80 litres will cost and how much I can buy for $50. So when we're using the unitary method, the first thing we do is write the unit rate, the value of 1 unit. So here we're after a rate for the cost. We're after dollars per litre. So all I have to do here is think of this as a division. Just divide the number of dollars by the number of litres. So 115 divided by 50 equals 2.3 or $2.30. So the rate here is $2.30 per litre. This is what I mean by the value of 1 unit. We've essentially found the cost here, the value of 1 litre of petrol. So this will allow us to attempt these questions very easily. So how much will 80 litres cost? Well, here I'm finding a quantity, I'm finding the number of dollars. So this is the first quantity in the rate. That's what I mean here. To find the first quantity, multiply. So what I'm going to do is multiply my rate here, $2.30 by 80. And you can use your calculator. That will cost $184. So in this one, how much can I buy for $50? I'm trying to figure out how many litres I can get. What is the litres if I know the dollars? So I'm finding the second quantity. So this up here tells me I need to divide. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take this quantity and divide by the rate. So putting that on our calculator, we get about 21.74. That means I can buy about 21.74 litres for $50. All right, let's look at a slightly harder question now. So for the first 5 days of this week, I've run an average of 4 kilometres per day. How far must I run in the next 2 days? So my average for the week is 5 kilometres per day. So all we're going to do here is figure out how far I've already run and then how far I need to have run. So if I have an average of 4 kilometres a day for 5 days, I want to find how many kilometres that I have run. So that's the first quantity in the rate. So I'm going to multiply. I have run 5 times 4, which is 20 kilometres so far. Now, after 7 days, I want to have run an average of 5 kilometres per day. So I need to have run 35 kilometres at the end of the 7 days. This is how far I've already run. This is how far I need to run. The difference between them is simply 15 kilometres. So I need to run 15 kilometres over the next 2 days. So I've run 35 kilometres in total, which averages at 5 kilometres per day. All right, thank you so much for tuning into this video. This has been the luckiest maths teacher in the world. Have a great day.